my name's Martha, this is Lou, and welcome to my channel, Preparing for Retirement. If you have never watched this channel before, it is dedicated to my journey, our journey, as we prepare for retirement, and our plan is to slow travel the world. So we've sold everything, we're in the process of selling everything, and then we head out in fall. Right now, we're in the middle of our test trip. So what I wanted to do today, this was actually Lou's idea,
It was?
It was. He said, you know, it took me a while to come around to this whole idea. Why don't you do an interview of me and the ideas I had before about what it was going to look like and what made me change my mind and be excited to do slow travel. So we're going to start the interview, but before we do, just to kind of set the stage, we are in Thailand and it is
Chiang Mai.
hot here right now.
Yeah, the
It's
AC's on,
really
but
hot.
it's still...
We have the AC on, but we just came in from getting some dinner and took like the shower number 3 of the day, or I don't know.
After
how many.
massage, so
Yeah,
I'm
after
oily.
massage.
I need to shower.
So, but we're still
Slimy.
hot, and then on top of that, we just had a bunch of spicy food, so we're all.
And when you leave, you have to take this card key out, and it basically shuts power off to the room.
Yeah, so your air doesn't run when you're gone. So.
No, it's generally pretty cool in this room when you come back. A lot cooler than outside, but
Yeah.
it's not
So
there
anyway,
yet.
we look how we look because it's really freaking hot here right now.
And we're old.
And we're old. Okay, so let's get
I
started.
need a haircut.
You ready for the interview?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First question I have for you, and I'm going to be looking at my questions down here. Before retirement, did you have any thoughts about slow travel or leaving
Before
the
you
U.S.?
started talking about it? No. Nope.
No.
Nope.
So
Never.
You never thought.
Other than when you started mentioning it, I never would have thought it possible to do something like this.
Well, did you ever think about, hey, we don't have to live in the United States, we can actually sell
No.
and leave?
Mm-mm.
No, never occurred to you.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
I liked my beach house.
Yeah, we had a house at the beach. That was his favoriteest
It
house
was a
ever
30-second walk to water. It was close.
in Florida.
3 houses, the 3rd house from A1A.
Yep, and it's under contract right now. If you're new to my channel and you haven't seen the updates, it's under contract right now. So.
We got it for a steal years
Yep.
ago.
Okay, question number 2. What concerns, once we started talking about it, about the possibility of traveling for our life, what concerns did you have about long-term travel?
Originally, I didn't want to leave my house. I really kind of dismissed it as it was never going to happen, but just talked to, because you were interested in looking at it, so being the good husband. Just gonna do it. But I guess my first original questions were, can we afford it? Is it doable? And the big one was the insurance. Because when I retired, I ended up with a diagnosis of prostate cancer. And it was, we had insurance, so
Yeah, I was
covered it
still
all.
working. I'm still working, so.
So we had insurance, and though it covered it all, our deductible was well into the $6-7 grand range.
Yeah.
And the 2 things you think about is, you go to Bali or Malaysia or Vietnam or Thailand, like she was talking way back when. Is the health care going to be good enough? I thought, well, it's not going to be up to date, the medicine, the care, and how do we get insurance to cover it? Is it affordable? And then, then is it doable? That was the big basic thing that I thought of. And my biggest drag to begin with was I didn't want to live in my beach house.
Yeah.
I liked my porch swing. I could look at ocean from there. Just a sliver. It's tiny sliver.
No, but we could
It was
hear
right
it.
there.
We could hear
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
it was right there. Okay, next question is, what was your vision for retirement for our retirement, before slow travel became the plan?
Well, I mean, when I retired, you were still working, and the thought was
Yeah.
that you'd probably be working until 62. And the hope was that we would save up enough money to be able to stay there and live. So I guess, really looking at it, what would be my thought of retirement is if we could have afforded it, and well, we could have, but and still lived a decent life, would just be basically sitting in the house waiting to die. That was my, really. I mean, going to the beach on the weekends, fishing a lot, and drinking beer here with the neighbors and friends, and then I had no real plans. I didn't figure we could afford to travel a lot, so seeing the kids in Australia, the grandkids, would have been difficult. But what did I think? I thought we'd probably be in the house waiting to die, which is really not the greatest way to live.
It's not the way to look at it.
It sounded good at the time.
Well, it's supposed to be like in your next phase. It's not supposed to be everything's over. But just to kind of fill this in, I was going to work until 62, and then with the summer that he got cancer, and and I had 2 other family members in my immediate family that both had cancer, all at the same time.
It was an interesting year.
Oh, one almost died 2 times, and
Not me.
not him. He was okay. He was a trooper, but it was a really difficult year, and I think that kind of brought it home to me that I didn't want to work until 62. So we had a conversation, the 2 of us, and decided that I could retire at 59, and that was the that moved it up to the end of this year, but then that even got moved up into September, so I'll be just shy of 59. I'm 58 now, but he's been retired for 2 years.
Yeah, a little over 2.
2 years.
March of 2 years ago.
Yeah, so he's been living his best fishing life for 2 years, so it's not like
minus the trips
not
up
like
north
you didn't
and
get the beach time.
I got stuck up there.
Yes, he was stuck up there because he was going through medical treatment.
Well, we were doing the snowbird thing, and that was the plan before the diagnosis. I was going to retire the last week of March in 23, and the plan was we were going to head up north, and I was going to set her up in a camper we had purchased up there for a really great price, and it was parked out in front of her mom's house, and she owns a bunch of land, so it was.
It was fine. It was what land I grew up on.
Yeah. So so that was the plan, was to go up, and then I'd fly back and have my summer, because I like the heat. Really, I do.
Mm-hmm. He does.
And,
he likes this heat. I don't.
And it's a little clammy now, especially after the.
I love Thailand. I don't like the heat of this particular time of year. Yeah, but I'm loving Thailand.
It's like been 90, high 90s.
It's been 97 yesterday.
It goes down a little bit when it rains, but then the humidity shoots up, and it was humid tonight.
Yesterday at 7:30, with the sun down, it said 97 feels like 104. So let's just call it what it is. It's
hot.
Freaking hot. So
okay, back to my story.
Yeah.
So I was planning to drop her off in the camper, get it all set up for staying in, power, water, everything, and then head back to Ormond Beach, and then spend the summer there and fish and drink beer with my neighbor Greg, and that was my plan. But because of the cancer diagnosis, we ended up going up basically the same time we were planning on, but we moved all the doctor's appointments and everything from a urologist that we had in Florida to New Hampshire. Martha's family's up there, so she could have the support she needed. But because I had all these appointments back to back for a long time, including a biopsy, I was stuck up there. And it was cold and rainy and depressing, and I have a blink system, so I could go to my phone and see how sunny and awesome it was in my front porch, which was depressing.
Okay. All right, so let's move on.
But I did go back for a few weeks in July.
He did. He went back after, in between.
End of June.
In between the.
We had a break between appointments.
Yeah, and then before his surgery.
About a month
so
and a week or two.
He got to go back for a little bit and then come back for
It
the
was
surgery.
fun.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the first conversation that really sparked the idea with you that we could do slow travel?
Wasn't the conversation? It was actually last summer. So we did kind of a normal thing last summer where I went up, helped her get set up, and then I was only there till I had one doctor's appointment.
Yep.
Then I flew back June, and I was there from June, July, and August. And I flew up to close out the camper and get her back. We stayed till November, I think, that year. Or
Something like that.
something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah,
so,
we stayed
so I
for
was there for my summer.
Thanksgiving.
I got to spend last year my summer in the beach house, and I was just sitting out in the porch swing, and it was my either morning routine with coffee, afternoon routine with a beer, and sometimes a scotch, and I just enjoy the weather and the shade and the sounds of the ocean and neighbors going by waving, and I just kept looking at all the things I had to do. The garage door was corroding again because the salt there does some nasty things to metal. So I'd already fixed it and painted it and scraped it and did all that fun stuff. And I kept looking at, you're sitting there with a beer or a scotch and you look over and go, oh, I got to do that. And then I look at this area of concrete on the porch wall. Oh, I got to fix that. Oh, I got to paint that. Oh, that needs done too. And I just kept thinking this, and then this thought dawns on me. We sell everything and go. I don't have to do anything anymore.
That's right.
There's no lawn to mow.
There's no
nothing to
upkeep.
fix. And it was amazing because when we finally moved out of the house and put it up for sale to head to this trip, we were about 4 days in a hotel up in Palm Coast.
Yep.
And there was this paint splotch on the floor to the bathroom, and I kept looking at it going, oh, I gotta fix that. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's not my problem. It's not mine. Yay. But I kept looking at it, and the first thought is, oh, I gotta fix that. It's like, I'm not gonna have to deal with that. And I don't know, I finally feel like I've retired. It's we don't have all the worries of hurricanes, all this other stuff.
No.
And
We get a
that could
hurricane.
break, this could break, and
Yeah.
because what if your AC goes out and it needs to be replaced? Well, we've done that already. What if the roof caves in because of problems we didn't foresee, ants or termites or something? And what if this? What if that? I mean, there's all these expenses. You're basically hovered over this possible concern of catastrophe.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's catastrophe potentials here. I could eat something that kills me, which these street stands, you never know. But so far, it's either been great, no problems, or we're going to get stronger.
Okay, so let's move on. All right. Were there any specific moments in our discussion that kind of fed into this questioning in your head, or was it all in that realization on the swing that day?
No, there were a lot of things. I mean, when you talked, many times you showed me videos of the healthcare and other people, and videos like this where you can hear other people's experiences and talking about it, and then they show video of the actual places and stuff.
Of the hospitals?
The hospitals,
Yeah.
the doctors, the quality of the care, which is apparently phenomenal. We haven't had to deal
Top
with
rate.
it yet, which is nice. But
Top
it's supposed to be as good or better than anywhere in the States. It was hearing a lot about that stuff, really, because that was probably one of my biggest concerns. The two things was, like what if a cancer diagnosis of some other sort came up? How would you deal with that? Would we have to go back to the States and deal with it there? But then if she's
Right.
retiring, we're not going to have her insurance anymore. Then you got to pay for your own. And then it gets even more expensive because you don't have that kind of corporate buying power, I guess is what you call it or whatever. But that surgery that I did for the prostate was, I think, over $300,000 as far as the cost. We paid 6 to 7, but that entire surgery here in a better, so my hotel or my stay, I shared a room with a guy after, I was only there a couple nights after the surgery, and I stayed a couple nights, and I'm sharing a room, and it was this tiny little cramped space. Of course, I wasn't, it's just
You weren't very
massive surgery.
coherent.
I wasn't,
You weren't very coherent.
but it wasn't that comfortable. And apparently here, you get a resort-like room by yourself, and the entire surgery is like $6,000 without insurance.
For prostate cancer.
Yeah. Without insurance, the same surgery, same quality equipment, and educated doctors and surgeons. And
That's from the beginning.
And that's without insurance, but you
Yeah.
can get insurance, and I don't even know what that would cost them.
Well, that's from the beginning of the diagnosis all the way
Yes.
to the end when you've been back for
And
follow
done
up
the
and the whole
surgery
nine
and
yards.
everything.
I can tell you that I've looked at the price of a new hip for myself, a full joint, And in Thailand, it was from absolute start to absolute finish, it was $11,000. And in Malaysia, I think it was 7,000. And Malaysia has top-notch
Yeah.
medicine. It is a medical destination. Their
Yeah.
doctors are trained all over the world in,
And because the
medical
cost
schools.
of living is so low there, that's
in the UK,
That's what they get.
in the States, and they speak English in Malaysia too. They learn that from birth. So
that was a big thing when
Yeah.
when I saw you show me videos and what people. So these things are really helpful to watch and see. And like I said, when we started this whole thing, I was kind of resistant, thinking, yes, it's a crazy idea, and I'll just let her talk about it. Maybe it'll go away.
I'll just humor her.
But
and she'll
and
be
then-
on to something else soon.
And then when you look at it, and then the whole thing really, you have to sit down and look at what is doable. I mean, could we have stayed, even if she retired earlier or even later? We had maybe 200 and something in 401ks combined. Mine was higher at the time.
It's 3.
But it's 3 now because of the investments have grown. And because you're still putting stuff in there,
Yeah.
I guess. But
Yeah.
so it ended up being about 300,000. Now 300,000, with if I took Social Security because I hit 62, a year ago?
Mhm. Yeah.
A year ago. So
About
we could have taken
7 months
social.
ago.
My social would have been about 1,900, almost 2,000. So could we have done it? Yeah, but we wouldn't be able to go out to eat much. And our grandkids and daughter being in Australia, we'd probably get to see them once every 2 to 3 years. And that's just not doable.
Well, and
for
all
us.
it takes is all of a sudden your
Yeah, and the house.
homeowner's insurance
Yeah, they go
is
out.
through the
Hurricane
roof and
comes in, and
they're
you
not
have some,
covering you.
and you
Or,
got some massive deductible.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
But now, so we sell the house. We sold it for 456.
yes.
56. So we bought it for 242 8 years ago. So we sold it for 456. When we come out of this, we should walk away with about 250. 250 added to the 300 we currently have. Now that's a little more reasonable. That's something that can grow. Martha's going to invest in some of this, and the rest of it, if we don't touch the retirement, it'll just keep growing. And we will likely end up giving our kids over $1 million. How that all works is something she's talked about or can't talk about because numbers. I'm ADHD, so I will wander off.
So
look.
So our plan is, and I have shown him the spreadsheets, but like he just said, he's not. He'll trust me on that, and he wants to see it. He'll ask, but our plan is to actually travel the world on $4,000 a month, and it's doable.
Yeah, with the investments and the
It's doable.
dividends she gets from the investments that she's got marked out, it is doable.
So we're gonna, the plan right now, as he said, is to wait until we're 70, each of us, to take Social Security. I have longevity in my family. I've talked about this on other videos, so I'm not going to go on and on. But my family lives into their 90s, and his father died of what he'd already beat.
Yep.
And
At 80.
his dad died at 80 of prostate cancer. He's already beat it, and you are in far better health than your dad
Yeah.
ever was. So
And I have no prostate now, so.
yeah, and I've been working hard all these years trying to keep this man alive. And it's not an easy job. I just want credit for that right there. I want a big gold star right there. But in all seriousness, we have a pretty healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
lots of exercise and healthy food, with the exception of tonight's fried chicken that we had from a
It
street
was good,
vendor.
though.
But anyway,
It was tasty.
let me go on.
And it was her choice.
It was my choice. Yes. What were the biggest hurdles or objections that you had?
Well, like I said, it was the
The insurance.
insurance, the healthcare things. That was the
Yeah.
first one, and yeah, what beat it out was it looks doable, and the big one was we get to see the grandkids because now we can see them 3 months every year,
Or
and
more
that's the
often
plan.
if we
We're going to
want
be
to.
there for Christmas and birthdays and for 3 months
Yep.
every year,
And we can
that's
pop back there anytime we want.
yeah, and that's
the thing.
phenomenal, and
Yeah.
and it's closer. It's not as long a flight because going to Australia from or the Daytona area, we end up going to Orlando to Dallas or LA, and then it's an
takes forever.
awful.
It's
long
over a day of travel.
flight.
It's over
And you're
a
in
day.
that thing overnight. You're in this tiny little seat. You're cramped, and it's a long time to be in that one seat. What is it, like 16 hours plus? 15? I think the
It
one
depends
from,
on which flight.
the one
I
from
mean,
LA is like 12, but the other one in
no,
Dallas,
it's like 15, and then Dallas is 19. All right,
it's brutal.
let's move this along. This is gonna be the longest video in the history of videos. Okay,
Make a
so we've answered a lot of these. So, did anything in the planning process really help ease your concerns? Did I do anything
The videos,
to help?
yeah,
The different videos that you
yeah,
watched
different
on
videos and
YouTube
things. Which my
Okay.
attention span for videos is way shorter. So, like, can you skip ahead? Can you skip ahead? But we got to the stuff I needed to see, and that was good for me. But, which I
Yeah.
know the YouTubers don't like that. So, sorry.
Well, so
I'm ADHD.
I got him to
It is
watch
what it
some. I got him to watch some videos from Brian and Carrie Travels and
And Chris.
from Chris at Retire and
We
Go.
keep looking around to see if we bump into
Yeah, yeah, we're looking for Chris. I hear he's in Thailand. We'll link some more travelers down below, and there's a lot of good information
Yeah,
out there.
there is. There is a
There's
lot of
really
information.
good information.
And you get to
out
see
there.
videos and things. And I think Chris, you got this hotel because he recommended
yes,
it.
we got this
and
hotel.
we really like it.
We really like the
The
hotel.
bed's hard, but they went and put
Well,
a
don't
bad
give
thing
out the whole
underneath.
review because I still have to do a review.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. All right. So let me see. So we've been doing this now for it's almost a month. This is
Well, the cruise.
it's
doesn't
our
count.
test trip. Yeah, cruise counts because it's repositioning cruise. It's a method of
The
travel.
cruise was great. Food was a lot.
Hold on.
Ate too much.
That isn't my question.
Okay.
All right. So this is actually our test trip, which
Mm-hmm.
I'll be doing a video about how our test trip went and things we learned. But this is the kind of thing that you do. I mean, yes, it's a test, but this is actually we are traveling.
And we went for this test trip at the inexpensive level.
Yes.
We
yeah.
could have done much more, but we wanted to see, or she wanted to see, could we do it? Could we do it comfortably?
How little could we go
Yeah.
on and still be comfortable? So, for example, our hotel here was $500 for the month, and we're spending maybe $12 a day on food.
Well, sometimes a
I mean,
little
we're
more.
eating a lot.
I don't know if we did more today because I bought a bunch of eggs. I need protein.
I'm not counting your 36 eggs. Don't ask.
Yes, in a bag.
Do not ask about 36
I'll
raw
give you a
eggs.
crate.
But
I need protein.
we're eating about $12 worth a day. So
Yeah.
we're living here.
There's some great restaurants. They're
Yeah.
like everywhere. I don't know how these guys survive because
Really
it's like it's a different world, but they're like these little shop things where they barely have doors. Some of them.
They
There's
just
no
they just
AC.
open
They
up the flap in the front.
and then they're there and,
And
they
there
cook
they are,
and they
open
do
for
things and you
So
got the street
good.
vendors. But the food is phenomenal and tasty and
Yep.
fresh. And the
Don't go
vegetables.
too far into it. I'm going to be asking you later on how you feel about Thailand. All right. So the question was, let's see. Okay, now that we've been traveling, like I said, we're test traveling, but now that we've been traveling for a month, what has surprised you about this?
About the whole thing?
What did you not expect out of this last month's experience?
Well, the area where we are is
A little rough.
well.
It's not
how do I
rough.
say it? It's not rough.
local.
It's
We're living where the locals live.
I mean, we've been to places in Mexico that look similar. They're very, I mean, the sidewalks are kind of uneven, and there's holes that somebody dug to fix something, and it's still there. And if you got a cone to notify you that it's there, you're
You're not on your cell phone
often.
walking down the street.
So
if you're
yeah,
smart.
you
Yeah.
really need to watch where you're going. The drivers here are better than Rome. Rome was crazy, and everywhere. And here, but in the same way, you don't see many accidents. They're very good. They drive like psychos, but it's not as bad
it's
here.
slower.
No, it's
Yeah.
slower here, and they're a little better. The motorcyclists, everybody weaves in. There's like rules, but not rules, and so you're nervous crossing the street. But apparently the locals, they just cross the street, and I hear it's like Vietnam. They say you just cross.
You just go.
And that people will move
Yeah.
around you.
They
if you
flow.
hesitate or
Traffic
do
flows around
anything
you.
they're not expecting, that's
Yeah.
when you can get hurt.
Yeah.
And it's very similar here. They don't move as fast. They're not as crazy. Not all like Rome. I wouldn't have crossed Rome Street.
We're
without
not. Yeah,
crosswalk.
we're not in a
It was-
real heavy.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But
We're not in
here
real heavy
it's
traffic.
not that bad. But it's so you see the area and it looks like another country. And
Which it is.
and so a lot of the videos, they show, Martha has shown me of other people. Sometimes the hotels are really fantastic looking. They're on this beach area. And then Martha didn't pick a beach area this time. She picked Chiang Mai
Chiang
in the
Mai up
mountains
in the
because she
mountains.
thought it'd be cooler.
It's on me. It's on me, people.
But
It's
but
on
Chiang
me.
Mai's a great town. The people are nice. You can go out there and
So
though the
nice.
sidewalks are a little itchy, you got to watch where you're walking, or you're gonna you'll remember it. And but the people are friendly and it feels completely safe. I don't think at night. I don't think there's problems here.
No.
There's no like gang problems or
No.
weird problems.
We haven't
or
seen police
dangerous.
around.
No.
You don't need them.
No,
I mean,
I think
it's-
they have, not quite Japan, but there's an honor code here.
There is.
And so they
Yeah.
tend to be very polite and friendly. Most of the time they don't pay much attention to you as a foreigner.
Yeah.
Even, but there's so many here, there really are. I mean, and it was surprising to see there's a lot of young people, a lot of younger.
A lot of backpackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in I don't want to go too far into Thailand, but we are in the old city Thailand,
Yeah.
which is where there are quite a few temples, and it's amazing here. It's totally amazing here. There are hostels around us, so we do have some backpackers, but this is not a super
It's not a ritzy area.
fancy, ritzy
You
area.
can find them.
It's not sanitized Western.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was important to me. I think it's
But
important to you that we
yeah, we
not
don't wanna
just
live
go.
like that.
We don't. That's not the
We
style
like
that
that.
we're looking for. There's nothing wrong with
Interesting.
it. There's nothing wrong with it. But the style that we're looking for is where you're actually living in the neighborhood with
Yeah.
people. And so there are pluses
We don't
and
want the
minuses.
Western food.
Yeah, there are pluses and
Maybe
minuses
once in a
for
while,
that.
but that's not
So-
anything. The fried chicken really
Yeah,
isn't
if we
Western
want
either.
it, there's a burger place
Yeah.
down the street that we haven't even tried yet.
Nope.
I don't know if we will. I mean, our grandsons are coming, so I'm pretty sure we will at some
Yeah,
point. But they have pizza. There's a ramen house across the street.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of food here. There's shabu.
Buffet places.
Yeah, the buffet
Where
places
you
down
cook
there.
the food yourself.
There's everything you would want.
Need
you
anyway.
can get in Chiang Mai. It's just the area that we're in is very, very local.
And it's
And
somewhat congested. I wouldn't say congested, but it's.
no, the housing
There's
is
a lot of people
the
here.
housing is smaller, and it's tighter.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's fairly common, I think.
but it's friendly.
And-
It's safe. It's
Yes.
comfortable.
People are so kind.
Yeah,
So nice.
and there's food everywhere.
All right, so
amazing.
we need to move this along. Okay, so what surprised you the most about this lifestyle so far?
I don't know.
Travel days are still hard.
Oh yeah, especially if they're long ones. I don't want to do that again. That long flight from Rome to Bahrain and then here, we were on a plane.
It was 12 hours.
Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore.
And
So
we're going to
we
be
could come up
stopping
with
in
a way
Bahrain
to stop
apparently.
and stay a day after a 6-hour flight and do that. That works for me.
The next day.
I came in. We're flying into Chiang Mai, and I'm just like ready to kill everybody.
The next day, Martha's in the in Agoda looking at prices for hotels in
Yes.
Bahrain. Okay.
I
all
don't
right.
want to do that anymore.
All right. So
The cruising across is nice though,
yes, that was fabulous.
Yeah. except for eating too much. 'Cause
Well,
I'm
that was on
big.
you. Yeah. So, what are the challenges or adjustments that at this point, and we're still new on, so we're going to do this again
Yeah.
another year, but what are the challenges or adjustments you're having to make at this point that
Well,
help you out?
it's something we've talked about in the last few days a lot. It's I'm kind of surprised that I'm second guessing I've been struggling with. So we had 3 weeks and the realtor said they wanted everything out. They wanted all these repairs done, and we had to do this in 3 weeks. We really did it in 2.5. And then we had to get rid of everything at the same time. But because it happened so fast, I didn't have time to slowly adjust to it. It was pot of coffee on, give me the stuff, get out of my way, and we just moved.
That was every day.
I was
Yeah.
insanely moving for 2.5 weeks until boom, all the stuff is gone and we're out of there, and we move into this hotel to spend 4 days, and then we're on our way to the cruise to our 2-month test run, and so I didn't have time to adjust to it, and so even on the cruise, there's all that food, there's all these people, there's all this stuff. It's like all I did there was eat and try to relax and get over that last 3 weeks of absolute hell, and then it wasn't until we got here. And Martha's working, so it's so hot out, and I don't really have anywhere to go. So I thought, I'll just lay around and, flip through stupid videos in there. But then, you lie in bed awake at night because you're still adjusting to the time. And this bed was god awful hard here. And
They fixed that.
I lie there, and it's like, I got rid of all my tools. I'm never going to sit on my porch swing anymore. The beach was right there. And I started going through all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, what did we do? And this is regret, fear, concern, I don't know what you'd call it. But, I'd have to sit through it, and I'm a praying man, so I did talk to God about it. And, I just realized that if He wanted us to stop and not do what we did, then something would have happened. He does that. That's how it works. But so, when I was going through this like on a daily basis or nightly basis, in the middle of the night, waking up, oh my gosh, what did we do? And I'd have to walk through it again. Well, I get to see the kids more. I do, the grandkids, this, that. Yeah, it was the right decision. It was the right thing to do. But I think really of all the things that have surprisingly changed, I didn't think I'd struggle with it as much as I have. When I get up and moving and everything's going and we go out and we move around, we see the place. Because, I started looking at it and this is our life, but this wasn't our life plan. This is only where we're staying for this time, and we're doing it on a very thin budget just to see how it works. And, I have to be honest, and when I do it to myself too, it's like, could I live like this for the rest of my life? Yeah. It's interesting. It's different. Every day is different.
Yeah.
And the big problems with it now are Martha's still working. So if she wasn't, we would have gone to see parks and elephants. Well, we'll do that when the kids are here because she's off next week. And then we would get all this stuff to go explore, which is what we like to do. Shoot, at home when we didn't have money, we would take like a convertible out and just go drive and see where we end up and basically explore.
Yeah.
So we like different foods. We try different things, and things would actually have taste, which is awesome here because everything is like, wow. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised about the struggle. And I'm guessing that if you're the travel princess like I am, she plans everything and I just go along.
I do all the work.
Whoever the travel princess is, you may look at this and go, I left a comfortable life. Well, this is not an uncomfortable life. It's an interesting life. And it's exciting, and there's so much to do and see. And even coming back from dinner tonight, I realized, all we did every weekend was I'd go sit on the beach with a fishing rod and a beer with a neighbor, and Martha come down, yay, she hated the heat. But, that was it. Here, what do? We go out and look at 10,000 different restaurants and pick one. That's fun.
We walk down side alleys.
Oh my gosh, and you're walking around, you're checking all this stuff. Oh, there's another temple.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a really old temple.
Oh, it's crazy. You're
and
walking
it's
down
just-
a side alley and you look behind a house and there's a 1,500-year-old temple.
And if you wanted to
Where did
stay
that come
close
from?
to those, everything's right around here. You don't have to walk
Yeah.
at all. Well, we could go anywhere and do anything. But this is just Chiang Mai, and this is just while we're here. It's hot, but we could go somewhere where it's not hot. We're going to go to what beach is it?
We're going
Wahin.
to Wahin.
Wahin, so we'll see that. My guess is, well, I think I like that better. But the thing
It'll be
is,
different.
it'll be different every
It'll be
time,
different.
and it's something new. And if you do like a place and you do get that homey kind of thing, well, I guess you could rent a condo for less than we're paying for this thing, and be in a nice area for a year.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah, there
not?
are lots of visa options. He's also going for Italian citizenship by descent since his grandfather
See if that
came
works.
over. We'll see if that goes, but we really
That would
like
give us an
Rome.
open door to all of Europe, really.
We
without
really
visa
liked.
issues.
We really liked Rome. I mean, we only got one day in there, and he still can't get past.
Oh my gosh.
He can't get past the motorcycles.
Oh my gosh, they're crazy.
But the people were wonderful.
Yeah.
The food was amazing.
Yeah.
The
The cab driver was the greatest human alive. Did you tell that story?
Not yet.
No.
I'll tell
I
that
left
story
my
later.
phone in a cab. And all you think about is all the pickpockets and all the things and the crime they talk about. We're in a bus station, we're in a train station, and it's crowded, it's crazy. I thought, did I get pickpocketed? Boy, if they're good if they did, because nobody bumped me. I thought, what do they got, like rubber hands? You know, and I realized, well, maybe it fell out in the cab. And it's like, oh my gosh. Then you do the tracking thing, you see it driving around. It's like, oh, it's in the cab. I thought, it's gone. So we tried to do all this stuff to lock it down.
Yeah, we had no way to contact the taxi driver.
But he ended up calling the hotel where he picked us up, and then the hotel called him back.
Honest.
And then he brought it to us. The cabbie guy's like, dude, you're my favorite cab driver ever.
Okay, let's finish up this interview. Welcome to life with us, because squirrel. Okay, so what advice would you give someone who is in a situation like maybe we were, a year ago, where I was gung-ho, I was ready to go, I was planning, I really wanted to do it, and you were hesitant. So what advice would you give?
Watch the videos, watch some of the videos, see the different people, because like I said, as Martha's shown me, there's people out there going on a budget of $5,000 a month. There are people going on budgets of $3,000, and everybody's got different things. Like if you look at Chris, he's going on a $2,500 budget. $2,000 budget, and he's living really well. And it's like a lot of places like Chiang Mai or Vietnam or whatever. And you're living.
You can do it in
You're
Europe.
living. You're not sitting waiting to die.
Yeah, you can do $2,000, $2,500 in Europe.
Yeah, but you can do any lifestyle
year,
you want. And then we met a couple on the Martin and Tanya who have a channel too. So,
I'll link them below.
And they were so much fun to hang out with on the cruise, and we did all the little port things with them. And talking to them, they're doing kind of a shorter, not a slower travel, but they go for a few weeks at a time. And they still have a house in Washington, Seattle, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So they still have a house, and they're debating whether or not to sell it or keep it. But their grandkids, or not grandkids, their kids are all there. No grandkids yet, but they're all there. So they still have a home base, which we didn't have anymore. We didn't have. Martha's got family up in New Hampshire, but in Florida, we had just friends. That's it. But yeah, look at the videos and see, and then maybe do a month or two trip if you can pull it off. If you're retired already, and then try it out and see if you like it. I would advise not doing the cheap way first. It's a bit of a shock.
I like
it's
a challenge. I like a challenge.
Yeah.
I set myself a challenge for this 2-month period. How little can we do it on? And that was including a cruise. So this challenge was not for the faint of heart.
No.
Plus we're flying our kids in. It's been crazy. But
don't try to sell your house and move out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was the hard part.
Oh my God.
Okay, so last question I have for you, and like I said, we're going to do this again after we've been traveling for 1 year. So this coming fall, but the next fall we'll do this again. So do you think, given what we've experienced this last month, do you think that this is the right plan for us?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Especially with we'll get to see the grandkids 3 months a year. It's interesting. And like I say, we like to explore.
Yeah.
It would have been, it's way better than waiting to just die.
He says that all the time.
Well, I mean, what would
There's
it
a lot of
been
people who retire at home that are not just waiting to die.
No, I know, but it would have been the same thing every day. I mean, you like the beach, but if it's there every day, you don't go as much as you think you will.
Yeah, you think you will, but you don't.
And you don't. Yeah. And it's like you talk to locals that have been there for years. They're like, oh, I haven't been to the beach in a year.
Yeah.
And it's right there. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it is.
The first
it's like
4 years we lived there, we were at the beach all the time.
Yeah.
And then.
Because how many times they'd sit watching a Netflix or Prime Video and just sitting there going, I should go to the beach. It'll be there tomorrow. And you do that for days at a time.
Yeah.
And it's, but here, I've gone on there a couple times like, nothing new. And then I'll go do something. I'll go look and explore, walk around. There's just so much to do and see. Yeah. And it's new. Now, I can imagine if you're here 3 months in Chiang Mai, then I think the best idea is not stay in the same place to go find another that you explore. And then another.
Go to different neighborhoods.
And then go to a different country. Yeah. Go to another town. But yeah, we need a beach.
We love the neighborhood here. And I mean, we have a masseuse that's within a block, and
steps over.
Both ladies are amazing. They're fabulous, and
It's like
she says you're gonna
$8 to
miss. She says
$12,
yeah, she says you're gonna miss me.
and they're good.
She says you come back in a year, you're gonna miss me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we'll be back. You know, but just wonderful people.
Yeah.
But you know, we're doing this. We're doing this to learn, and we're doing this for the adventure.
Yeah.
And you know, so
And
far
what a way to live. I
the
mean, really
experiences
exploring
we've
and
had.
traveling, and it's
Yeah.
affordable. It's more
Yeah.
affordable than it would have been to stay in that house and just live.
I think it's going to keep us young.
I agree, and healthy,
think
because
it's
you
gonna
walk
keep us
around. The food's pretty healthy.
Very healthy here.
Yeah, any problems with the weed.
You know, there's so much to see here. There's so much to learn here. It's a very different culture. We're trying to learn the language, and we're going to do that each place we go.
It's
We
a
try
tricky
to-
language.
Try to learn something, but I think this is going to keep us young. So
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and link some of the content creators that we've talked about. I'll link their YouTube channels below.
Mark and Tanya, great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're still with us this long, this is the longest video ever. I just want to thank you for staying with us. And if you like this kind of content, I will be starting I'll be finishing up our Italy content soon. And we only got
Best cab
2 days
driver
there.
ever.
We only got 2 days in Italy, but we're going back again this fall.
What was his
and
name? Daniel.
Daniel. So we had 2 days in Italy. We're going back again this fall, and then after we leave Chiang Mai, we're heading to Spain with a few stops along the way. Excuse me. But anyway, if you like that content, that type of content, please do go ahead, like and subscribe, and we'll bring Mr. Lou in more often to give his unique point of view. And maybe answer some questions for us and give us some points of view that are sure to be rather colorful in nature and revolve around
I
food
need to
most
cut
of the
my
time.
hair so my hair
Your
will be
hair's
shorter.
fine. Your hair's fine.
On a pair of scissors. How much were they?
25 baht. So 60 cents for a
60
brand
cents
new
for a pair of
pair of hair cutting scissors. It's crazy here. It's crazy. All right. Okay. Well, anyway, have a lovely evening and God bless. Bye. 3, 2, 1.
I'm telling you, I gotta wait till I'm not clear my throat. Now you're doing it. I don't know why. Just started. That was a spicy food.
That is spicy food. Okay. Ready?
No, I'm gonna blow my nose again.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm gonna sit here.
That's it.